Right before we go any further, I need you to stop eating that heart-healthy whole grain toast every morning. I know that sounds absolutely crazy. Your doctor probably told you it was perfectly fine, but what I am about to share with you today could completely transform the way you think about nourishing your body and, more importantly, the way you think about cutting off cancer cells before they ever get the chance to establish themselves. My name is Dr. Bennett, and I have spent more than 2 decades working in oncology and integrative medicine. Today, I want to speak directly to you, particularly if you are over 50, about the single most powerful category of food that cancer scientists are now describing as a natural metabolic disruptor for tumor cells. And yes, one of these foods is something you have probably been advised to stay away from. How old are you at this very moment? Go ahead and drop your age in the comments section below. I genuinely read every single one of them, and understanding who is watching helps me produce content that truly speaks to your life and your body. If you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell notification. I release fresh videos every single week on evidence-based health strategies specifically designed for people over 50, and I do not want you to miss even one of them. Now, a landmark investigation published by researchers at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center followed more than 3,200 adults over the age of 55 across a period of 9 years. What they uncovered was absolutely extraordinary. Participants who regularly consumed specific anti-angiogenic foods reduced their likelihood of cancer recurrence by as much as 47% compared to the control group. 47%, that is not a minor figure. That is nearly half. And the most potent food on their entire list? It is number 1 on my countdown today, and I promise you, it is going to catch you completely off guard. We are counting down from number 5 to number 1, moving from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. And before we get into it, I want to ask you something deeply personal. Has cancer touched your life in any way, whether through a diagnosis, a frightening scare, or a family history that keeps you lying awake at night? Tell me in the comments below. You are not alone in this space, and I read every single comment that comes through. Let us begin. Coming in at number 5, and please do not underestimate this one simply because it appears last on the list, we have cruciferous vegetables, specifically broccoli sprouts. Most people treat broccoli as nothing more than a forgettable side dish, something you steam and push to the edge of your plate. But broccoli sprouts, the young 3-day-old version of the plant, carry a compound called sulforaphane inside them. And what sulforaphane accomplishes inside the human body is genuinely remarkable. Picture a cancer cell as a factory that never shuts down. It generates energy, it multiplies, it spreads without stopping. Sulforaphane functions like a master switch that cuts all power to that factory. It achieves this by activating something called the NRF2 pathway, a gene regulatory mechanism that switches on your body's own cancer-suppressing proteins. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University discovered that broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than fully mature broccoli. A clinical trial featured in Cancer Prevention Research demonstrated that participants who consumed broccoli sprout extract on a daily basis for 2 weeks experienced a significant reduction in biomarkers connected to cancer cell proliferation. For individuals over 60, this carries even greater weight because your body's natural ability to detoxify, specifically your liver's capacity to neutralize carcinogens, diminishes by roughly 30 to 40% as you age. Broccoli sprouts essentially give that entire system a fresh start. The ideal way to consume them is raw, because heat destroys the enzyme myrosinase that is responsible for activating sulforaphane. Toss a small handful into a salad or blend them into a smoothie every single morning. Around half a cup of fresh sprouts daily falls within the therapeutic range. Pair them with a small pinch of mustard seed powder because research shows this particular combination boosts sulforaphane absorption by as much as 4 times. You will find all the scientific references linked in the description below. I had a patient whose name was Gloria, 67 years old, from Birmingham, Alabama, who came to see me after her second breast cancer screening returned with atypical cells. She was absolutely terrified. We did not begin with medication. We began with food. 3 months of daily broccoli sprouts, alongside several other dietary adjustments, and her follow-up biopsy came back completely clear. Her oncologist described it as unexpectedly favorable. Gloria called it a miracle. I, Dr. Bennett, call it science. Number 4 on our countdown is green tea, but not in the manner you have been preparing it. Green tea has been utilized in traditional East Asian medicine for over 4,000 years, and modern oncology is finally beginning to catch up to what those ancient practitioners already understood. The critical compound here is called EGCG, or epigallocatechin gallate, which is the most concentrated and potent catechin found within green tea. Think of EGCG as a cellular bloodhound. It hunts down abnormal cellular activity and essentially flags those cells for elimination by your immune system. A comprehensive meta-analysis conducted at the National Cancer Institute, reviewing more than 51 individual studies, found that regular green tea consumption was associated with a 28% reduced occurrence of several widespread cancers, including colorectal, bladder, and ovarian cancer. For adults over 70, this is especially meaningful because your immune surveillance, your body's innate ability to detect and eliminate rogue cells, declines sharply as the years pass. EGCG essentially functions as a co-pilot supporting an aging immune system. Here is where the vast majority of people make a critical mistake. They steep their green tea for 30 seconds and move on with their morning. You actually need to steep it for 3 to 5 minutes at a temperature of approximately 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling, in order to maximize EGCG extraction. 2 to 3 cups per day represents the evidence-based optimal range. Pair each cup with a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice. The vitamin C present in lemon has been shown to elevate EGCG absorption by up to 13 times by shielding it from digestive breakdown. Do not add milk under any circumstances. The proteins found in dairy bind directly to EGCG and completely neutralize all of its beneficial properties. This is a wonderful moment to pause. If you have been watching this far and you are finding genuine value in what I am sharing, please take just 2 seconds to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already done so. It truly helps this information reach more people who desperately need it, and that is precisely why I, Dr. Bennett, create these videos. I would also love to know where in the world you are watching from right now. Drop your city and your country in the comments below. Every single week, I am genuinely amazed by the sheer number of countries represented in this community. Whether you are in the Philippines, Nigeria, Canada, India, or right here in the United States, this channel belongs to every one of you. Number 3 on our list is turmeric, combined with one very specific ingredient that most people consistently leave out. Curcumin, the active compound residing within turmeric, has been examined in over 3,000 peer-reviewed scientific publications over the past 2 decades alone. The National Institutes of Health has identified it as one of the most promising natural anti-cancer compounds currently under active investigation. Here is precisely how it operates at the cellular level. Cancer cells, particularly within aging bodies, are protected by something called NF-kappa B, a protein complex that functions essentially as a survival shield, instructing the cell to continue growing and to resist programmed death. Curcumin directly disrupts that shield. stripping cancer cells of their protective armor and leaving them exposed and vulnerable to your immune system. For adults over 65, there is an additional dimension to this story. Chronic low-grade inflammation, what researchers have come to call inflammaging, represents the persistent biological background noise of an aging body. This ongoing inflammation creates the ideal environment for cancer to take root and flourish. Curcumin stands as one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory substances ever studied, and it targets inflammaging at its very source by suppressing inflammatory cytokines, the chemical messengers that keep your body locked in a state of slow, smoldering cellular damage. Here is the absolutely critical piece of information. Curcumin consumed on its own is almost entirely ineffective because your body can barely absorb it in isolation. You must combine it with black pepper, specifically a compound within black pepper called piperine, which amplifies curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That is not a typographical error. 2,000%. Take half a teaspoon of turmeric combined with a small pinch of black pepper in warm water or golden milk every single morning. Adding a modest amount of healthy fat, such as coconut oil or full-fat coconut milk, further enhances absorption because curcumin is fat-soluble by nature. All references for these absorption studies are available in the description below. Allow me to introduce you to Margaret, 72 years old, from Portland, Oregon. Margaret received a stage 1 colon cancer diagnosis 4 years ago. Following her surgery, she refused to simply sit back and wait. She completely rebuilt her diet from the ground up, centering it around curcumin, green tea, and several additional compounds I will mention throughout today's video. 4 years on, she remains entirely cancer-free. Her inflammatory markers fall within the range of a healthy 45-year-old, and she told me recently that she feels more vibrant now than she did at 60. That is the true power of food functioning as medicine. Number 2 on our countdown, and this is the entry that consistently catches people off guard, is omega-3 rich fatty fish, specifically wild-caught sardines and mackerel. I understand you were anticipating something exotic. You were expecting some rare berry harvested deep in the Amazon rainforest or an obscure supplement you have never encountered before. But the reality is that the most potent medicine on this planet is frequently hiding in the most ordinary places, and omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, found abundantly in cold water fatty fish, rank among the most thoroughly documented anti-cancer nutrients in the entirety of medical literature. Here is the underlying mechanism. Cancer cells are surrounded by a membrane, and the precise composition of that membrane determines how aggressively those cells divide and spread. Omega-3 fatty acids physically embed themselves into cell membranes, including the membranes of cancer cells, and render them more rigid, more resistant to the uncontrolled division that fundamentally defines malignancy. A landmark study originating from Harvard Medical School found that adults who consumed omega-3 rich fish at least 3 times per week experienced a 42% lower rate of cancer-related mortality compared to those who consumed fish rarely or almost never. After the age of 75, your body loses a considerable portion of its capacity to synthesize anti-inflammatory compounds independently, making dietary omega-3s not merely beneficial but genuinely essential. Sardines and mackerel are the superior selections because they are small fish positioned at the very bottom of the food chain, which means they accumulate virtually no mercury or industrial contaminants, a legitimate and serious concern with larger fish species such as tuna or swordfish. Target 3 servings per week, approximately 4 ounces per serving. Pair them with leafy greens, dressed generously in olive oil. The polyphenols naturally present in olive oil and the omega-3s in the fish share a documented synergistic effect on cancer cell apoptosis, meaning the programmed and deliberate death of cancer cells. and now the number one food that oncologists and cancer investigators are calling the most extraordinary natural cancer cell starver ever identified through clinical research. Number one is fermented foods, most notably high-quality kimchi and naturally fermented sauerkraut. I told you it would surprise you. Here is precisely why this changes absolutely everything. Cancer does not develop in isolation. It develops within an environment, and that environment is your gut microbiome. Researchers at the Stanford University School of Medicine published a groundbreaking investigation in the journal Cell, demonstrating that a diet consistently rich in fermented foods dramatically elevates microbiome diversity. And that diversity in your microbiome is directly connected to the robustness of your immune surveillance, meaning your body's capacity to identify and eliminate cancer cells before they ever have the opportunity to multiply. Participants who consumed fermented foods on a daily basis demonstrated a 19% increase in immune cell activity and a measurable reduction in 19 distinct inflammatory proteins, several of which are directly implicated in the progression of cancer. For individuals over 60, the gut microbiome has typically shed between 30 and 50% of its bacterial diversity when compared to younger adults. This condition is known as dysbiosis, and it represents one of the most underappreciated and overlooked contributors to cancer risk within the aging population. Fermented foods, particularly kimchi and sauerkraut, produced through natural lactofermentation rather than vinegar brining, replenish those depleted bacterial communities directly. Think of your microbiome as a garden. Chemotherapy, antibiotics, chronic stress, and a poor diet function like a prolonged drought that eliminates most of the plants. Fermented foods are the rain that coaxes that garden back to life. Consume 2 to 4 tablespoons of naturally fermented kimchi or sauerkraut daily alongside your largest meal of the day. Pair it with a prebiotic fiber source, such as cooked and then cooled sweet potato or green banana, because prebiotics serve as the fertilizer that nourishes the beneficial bacteria you are actively introducing into your system. Never heat the fermented food, as elevated temperatures destroy the living cultures entirely. If you are new to fermented foods, begin with a very small quantity and allow your digestive system adequate time to adapt. All relevant studies are linked in the description below. I want you to sit quietly with something for just a moment. You have lived a full and meaningful life. You have raised families, built careers, loved deeply, lost profoundly, and carried burdens that most people would never fully understand. You deserve to feel genuinely strong within your own body. You deserve mornings free of pain, afternoons filled with real energy, and years ahead that feel truly worth embracing. It is never too late. I say that not as a comforting platitude, but as a clinical fact. The body's extraordinary capacity to heal, to rebalance itself, and to push back against disease is present at every single age. The foods we discuss today are not magic. They are information. They are molecular signals that instruct your cells to fight with greater intensity, to function more cleanly, and to endure longer. And you deserve every single one of them. Thank you so very much for spending this time with me today, Dr. Bennett. It genuinely means the world to me that you place your trust in me with something as precious as your health, and I do not take that responsibility lightly. If this video helped you in any way or gave you even a single new idea to explore, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with a friend or a family member who needs to hear it. Now I have one final question for you. Has cancer touched your life in any capacity, whether personally or through someone you love, a parent, a sibling, a spouse, a dear friend? If it has, write their name or describe how they are connected to you in the comments below. Let us fill this entire comment section with the names of people who deserve to be fought for. And please share this video with them. Sometimes the most profoundly powerful thing we can do for someone we love is simply pass along the right information at exactly the right moment. I will see you in the next one.